Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at this 1992 Nissan Skyline. This one here was some of the coolest little bit of kit that I've seen in quite some time. Now this car was bought from auction for export over to the Czech Republic, actually. Not a country we send to very often, but of course we'll send to any country that is legal to import these cars. And this video is just to check over the condition of the car, and we'll talk about it, show you some of the cool little features that it has, and then we're going to be exporting the car out of here. Now you can see here it says 13,764 kilometers. That's not true. I'm going to talk about that in just a second here. And pull that key out so it's not beeping at us. Okay. This is the automatic transmission, which is not very common these days if you want an auto one. With the RB20 DET turbo engine, that's a 200 horsepower 2-liter inline 6-cylinder, which is something you don't see every day. An inline 6-cylinder that's 2 liters. I can only think of Toyota, Nissan, and BMW that have done that. If there's someone else, let me know in the comments section. Now this one has had, it's very windy today. This one has had the timing belt changed twice, once at 39,000 kilometers in the year 2000, and then once at 151,000 kilometers in the year 2017. The oil checks out, it's in good shape. The coolant checks out, it's in good shape. No rust on the strut tops, which is a common thing of many Nissans. It's not just the Skylines and the Silvias that have that issue. This one here also is good. Underneath here is pretty close to being stock. We just have a Nismo strut tower brace, so that's an aftermarket chassis strengthening piece, which is worth it on the R32 in my opinion. Timing cover says Tommy Kyra, which is a really cool little rare piece. And this one here is aftermarket, but I don't know which company that is. Okay, and we got some aftermarket horns down here as well. I'll go ahead and close the hood so we can shoot the rest. And a quick look at the car, and of course it's been color changed to this color. This color was never available from the factory. It does look pretty close to the LM color that the R33 was available in, which was also like it's an homage to a racing color for Nissan. So it might be that. I'd have to see them side by side. I think it is that color. Also, by the way, 4-door. So yeah, you can get lots of the Skylines, maybe even all of them in 2-door and 4-door configurations. These days, the 4 doors are a little rarer than the 2 doors because they probably didn't sell too many of them from the get-go. And as a result, it is cool to have a 4-door, especially one that's been modified like this. And boy, it's got a whole bunch of cool stuff. So you're gonna have to bear with me here before you get to see the cool stuff, because there is a structure to this video. So let's go over the auction inspection sheet. Keep in mind, this is the information given to us from the auction, so let's go over it. 1992 Nissan Skyline GTS-T Type M, auction grade 3.5 with an interior grade C, automatic transmission, 172,807 kilometers. See the little dollar sign there? That means there's a special note about that. Now it says it's a Tommy Kyra limited edition, but that's been crossed out because we don't think that it actually is. There is no Tommy Kyra badging for it, and while it does have some Tommy Kyra parts, it's not a full set. So you could get a complete car from them, or you can get parts out of their catalog and put them in your car, which is what I believe this one has. Okay, so it says Nismo suspension on it, Nismo floor mats, Tommy Kyra wheels, and oh my gosh, I'm getting distracted. I love these wheels on this car. More about that in a second, if I remember. Jasma exhaust. Jasma is just the compliance organization, so you can get registration here with this exhaust. It's not too loud, it means. A Nismo tower bar, Tommy Kyra electric rear spoiler, and boy, I got to tell you about that. Tommy Kyra tappet cover or valve cover. Actually, in this case, it's not a tappet cover or a valve cover. It's the coil pack cover that goes between the cam covers on either side. And then aluminum hood. So steel hood is usually, that's not aluminum, that's an FRP hood, so the seller was wrong about that. It's weird that it's an FRP hood with no ducting in it. Usually there is. But yeah, this probably save you something like 7 or 8 kilograms over the stock hood, because the stock hoods on these are really heavy. The GTR naturally has the aluminum hood, but all of the other models had steel hoods. Okay, so other notes here, Recaro half bucket seats, Impul front and rear bumper, Impul side steps, and Impul is an in-house tuning company for Nissan. Airbag, ABS, aftermarket grille, drive recorder, and then here the note about the mileage. So in 2018, June 15th at 129 kilometers, the gauges were replaced. Now they have a history paper for this, and then currently the gauges show 13,678 kilometers. If you combine the two together, it's 172,807 kilometers, plus whatever it has accumulated coming into the lot here. A color changed car, it was originally a dark blue, changed over to this lighter blue. And then it says seat rip. It's actually both the driver and passenger side seats are ripped. Aluminum wheel scratched, side step edge dented, and then the body here shows pretty good. It says A2 on the front bumper. Otherwise, the body doesn't really have any marks, but it has been repainted. There is some paint wave on there. Windshield rock chip, interior dirty, and interior rip. Okay, so let's take you for a little tour around it. I want to say about the wheels now. These are a 16-inch wheel, which is what all of the tuners would have gotten in 1992 when this car was fresh off of the factory floor. And these days I'm quite liking the original look. 1992 was a long time ago, and to have tuning parts like these wheels in generally good condition from 1992, nowadays it's like a time machine. And this spoiler, I'm going to show you some of the functions of it, because it's not only is it a crazy looking spoiler, it also has active aero in it. And so it has some motors to move some parts around. So I'll show you in a sec. Okay, the JDM tree is getting in the way now. It has outlived its usefulness. If you go back to our older videos from like 6 years ago, you can see much more growth recently. So I'm pretty happy with the body, all things considered. That said, the hood to the front fenders to the bumper don't line up perfectly. There's some chance that this car has hit something at some point in the front, and as a result, your panels are not lining up. I took a look on the strut tops and the inner panels. They don't look like they've been replaced, but that panel's not fitting very well. Have a look, it's very close right here, and up there it's fairly far away. Same thing goes on this side here. This section here is a little bit down more, like 1 millimeter down more on this side than it is up here. It's up more. So it's that's what you get when the car has been in a bump in the front end. Like I said, you get an R grade if it has been repaired. That's what the R stands for. In this case, it's probably was bumped, but no frame was repaired, and as a result, you have a little bit of misalignment there. You'll usually have that marked on the auction sheet. In this case, it wasn't marked. So front bumper. This is an Impul unit. I really, really like this front bumper. It has a OEM Plus look to it, or a tuning bumper of 1992 look to it. And it's really windy, so it's blowing my camera around a little bit. It has intakes here. Now this one here would naturally go to your front mount intercooler, but let's see, is it in there? Yeah, it is. Okay, and then some finning there, and yes, very much a 1992 look. The grille is aftermarket. That's, I don't know what brand it is, but it has a little piece here to make it look like a Nismo front hood spoiler, I suppose they call it. And then it has the mesh in it as well. These are the projector headlights on this one. There are 2 different versions of headlights that you can get. Actually 3, but they look like 2 different versions. And it has these little bumper pieces, which has a very OEM kind of feel to it. Like maybe that was something you could have optioned a car with in 1992 so that you don't get little scrapes on your front bumper. But the fact that it exists on an aftermarket bumper is very interesting indeed. Now the A2 is more like A2Y1. There are some paint cracks in this black section down here. If you look here, you can see the bumper's not completely lining up to the headlight. Aftermarket bumpers often will warp over time, so that's not out of the ordinary. But when you combine that together with the fender not fitting properly to the hood, that may have been damaged, and that's why. Now, it doesn't stand out an awful lot, especially the bright color of the car and the fact that it's going to the Czech Republic. How many R32 four-door sedans are there over there? Probably not a lot. And if you are from the Czech Republic, let me know. Maybe it's a hidden JDM paradise there that I'm just not aware of. Okay, so the paint job, I wouldn't say is very good. I would say most paint jobs here in Japan are pretty bad. Around the world, aftermarket paint jobs, to do it well takes a lot of time, and so they're often not done very well. This one has a lot of paint wave in it, as you can probably see here. That said, it is bright and glossy, and it doesn't have any scratches or dents to talk about. And yeah, the meat on the tire on a 6T just has a really cool look to it, especially once you shine up that tire and maybe restore the wheels. The wheels are not bad, but they have some scraping due to age, and Tomikawa center and Tomikawa lug nuts too. Cool. And then brakes are the bigger of the two brakes that you can get. Side skirt, although it kind of looks like a, just an ordinary side skirt, keep in mind a 4-door has a different wheelbase than a 2-door, and you can't just put on a 2-door side skirt. You have different cutouts and stuff. So an aftermarket side skirt for a 4-door, it's a pretty rare commodity, and very cool that it has it. Okay, now this spoiler. I had to look this up. I'd never seen it before, and I've been doing this for long enough to think that I've seen everything that is here. No, not a chance. At least every week I'm seeing something new that I didn't know about. And this thing is amazing. Now this is in the down location, and there are 2 buttons to actuate it. There are 2 different sections. So one of them raises this up and back. It only raises it up about this high, and I'll show you. The other one is it flips this up as well, and you can do those separate of one another, so you can just flip this up, or you can just extend this, or you can do both. Unfortunately, one of the actuators over here is jammed, and so this one here can go up on this side but not on this side. Now you can open it up underneath here and potentially like re-grease it or see what's off, potentially change a gear if it's a nylon one that's broken. But yeah, incredibly cool. So let's go ahead and put that in the up position. And I'm just going to start the engine again. We do have more goodies in the interior as well, so we'll get to that soon. But for now, so wing up. Let's put that up, and it takes a little bit of time. And that's up, and then the rear flap. And that's about as up as it's going to get. Oh, I forgot to tell you about something else. Very rare option. Original front spoiler that's electronically adjustable. They had those on like the GTO and the Supra and the Hiace and the Skyline. This little flap here comes down by the press of a button, and it still works. Oh, that is super duper amazing. I love that. And so here you can see the spoiler in the up position. As you can see, you're only gaining like 4 centimeters, but the fact that it does do that is really cool. And it looks like this can potentially come up even a little bit more if it weren't jammed on this side. You can see that it's like completely flat here. It comes up a little bit here. And then underneath, there's a brake light integrated into it. So this could potentially go quite a bit higher because it's got to get out of the way of that brake light. So I think it would look really cool if it were fully actuated. And I really wish this was my car so I can fiddle around with it and get it to work properly. So for the time being, let's just put that back in the down position. It looks like you can actuate both at the same time. It doesn't seem to have an issue with that. Okay. Something about the engine. The engine is a little shakier than you would want it to be. So it's going to need to have someone take a look at it and see what's causing it to be shaky. It could be an engine mount or something like that. Rear bumper says Impal in it. And I'm trying to think. I believe that the blue that I was talking about, the limited edition blue, the actual race car may have been sponsored by Impal. I'd have to check into that. Might be wrong, might be right. The 4-door comes with a slightly different taillight. It is like a one-piece lens instead of body colored, all but the the two circles. Here's our aftermarket exhaust. And then this rear bumper has these like little vent looking inserts that have cutouts for the tow hooks. It's quite nice. Okay, tires are 8 years old. It's going to need to be replaced. They're 205 on there. But yeah, looking good. It has a rear tinted window with the opaque style tint. So it's like a fabric. That was a factory option. And then the paint job, this part here has come in a little bit. Very, very, very common on these R32s. And the front one has cracked and has been painted over. So there are a few flaws like that on the car. The visor here that gets attached to this section has been pulled off. And then the black rubberized material that's on top of this has been peeled off. Because that tends to crack really early on, like after 20 years or something. And then you can just peel it all off and leave it like this. And it's generally much better looking once you do that. Okay, why don't we go to the interior? The trunk doesn't pop. With the trunk pop, usually you have to pull this up, but that won't pop the trunk. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with this fairly heavy spoiler on the back, but you have to use the key if you want to open that. Okay, and here's the wiring for the spoiler, I suppose. No rust or any issues with that. A little bit of pilling in the fabric down here. And otherwise looking pretty normal. Yes, they come from factory like that, as far as I remember. It has been a while since we've had an R32. We've probably seen over 100 of them go through our hands. Tiny, tiny bit of rust down there. No signs of an accident. It's looking fine. No smell of mold inside the car, so that's good. Let's go now into the interior. The seller didn't mention this, but this one has leather seats. I can count on my hand. I can count on my one finger the one time I've seen leather seats in an R32. It is not something that I've seen very often. I'm not sure if it was an option or if there was a special model or something. It's a low quality leather, but the fact that they exist is amazing. And then I don't think it's aftermarket. I don't think there are any aftermarket kits for putting leather into your Skyline. But that's just incredibly cool that exists. Now, floor mats, all 5 of them are a Nismo unit, and they're specific to the 4-door because they have the correct inserts for here. And then the seats here are Recaro seat, also leather, also the same color of gray, but I don't think it was a kit between the two. I don't believe so. If this was actually Tommy Kaira, they would be Tommy Kaira labeled seats and not just Recaro labeled seats. But I'm over the moon with the look of these seats. They are so 1992. I just love them so much. They're a little bit worn out. There's some wrinkles in the outside bolster here. And then a rip here that's underneath tape that I can't really check. And then another rip on the other side over here. Both things you can repair because leather is a fabric that's fairly easy to repair even if there are full tears in it. And maybe a little bit of sagginess in the bottom of the seat here. I like the position of them. They're a little bit lower than the standard seat position, so it gives you a little bit of a sportier feel. Here's your Nismo mat again. Fairly hard to get these days. And then a steering wheel cover, which is blah to me. I don't like that at all. You have I believe that this was an option for a cup holder. Unfortunately, they're broken. And then a Sony tweeter here with a tweeter control box down there. Okay, heading into the car here, we have, take a look at this. This shift knob is a dealer optional Navan unit. Navan being I believe it's an accessory company that's in-house with Nissan. A lot of people know about the Navan S14 rear spoiler. Same logo on it. It feels very OEM quality, but it's very much non-OEM look. And so what a cool little score. If you wanted to get stuff like this, you absolutely couldn't. They just simply don't exist in the used market anymore.
how many people would have optioned their car with this? And then after the first few years, you're not going to be able to buy any of these from the dealer anymore. So very, very cool. I like that a lot. A Sony CD player here, a very different looking one. AC is working nice and well. And then look at this, a very, very gorgeous dashboard. If you know anything about these cars, you'll know that they bubble up here really badly, over here really badly, and around here. Now this one has deformed a tiny bit, but all things considered, that's a gorgeous, gorgeous dashboard. It has a few things attached to it, which is annoying, but that can be taken care of. This is obviously a screen, radar detector, which makes the sound of a car accident when you start the car. I don't know if you heard that. And then a USB socket thing, I don't really know. I don't know what this, an ETC card reader. And then never been smoked in, which is nice. This is a late model, so you get a slightly different material here for the center console. Look at that, power spoiler, power spoiler. You couldn't ask for more. The dead pedal is a Tommy Kaira unit, which is a nice little bonus. And then, yeah, you can pretend it has 13,000 kilometers on it, even though it's not true. The engine may need some work on it because of the vibrations. I'm not sure if it's an engine problem, but I suspect it. You know, take it to a mechanic that really knows, have them poke around at it for a bit, and check into it. All the gutters here were painted, as well as the doors, which is good. Sometimes that's not the case on a color change. Yeah. So what a unique and crazy car. And this one going to its new home halfway across the world, or maybe 4/10 of the way across the world. That'll be all for this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.